Premature ejaculation doesn't often make the news headlines for some reason, and this new gadget did, and it's quite an interesting development. Before we go any further, I just want to make it clear that I have no connection or affiliation with Morari Medical or anybody else, come to that. This is just something I noticed and my thoughts as a therapist who works with guys. So back to the headlines. Can this device really prevent premature ejaculation? So it is a stick-on wearable device that guys can attach between their testicles and their anus just before they have sex. I particularly liked the headline in The Sun, "It stops PE by zapping you near your bum." They also referred to the manufacturers of this device as bonk-trepreneurs, which I'm sure they really appreciated. So yes, the More device, as it's called, by US startup Morari Medical, attaches to the perineum during sex. And here's the image that accompanied most of the press reports. It's quite futuristic. I've recently learned that this area in the body is also known as the taint in North America. It taint your balls, it taint your arse. The More device sticks down there by using a chemical-free adhesive, a little bit like a band-aid. And the manufacturers make it quite clear that as long as you do a bit of grooming and maintain a level of hygiene down there, it will stick no problem. And when you pull it off, that will be a painless affair as well. It's called a neurostimulation device because it works by confusing nerve signals between the penis and the brain. Now, it's true that when penetration begins, stimulation and sensations from the penis and the movement of the hips send signals up the spine towards the brain and begins that ejaculatory process, that reflex action that happens quicker in some guys than others for physical, physiological and psychological reasons. A bunch of nerves do combine at that spot, at the perineum, before going up to the spine and the brain. So the device attempts to confuse the signals right there. So it's working a little bit like a TENS device. It sends mild electric pulses, which has also been used for pain control and other medical applications. Now, the manufacturers are quite keen to stress mild electrical pulses, not electric shocks or zapping. They don't like that kind of language. And they stress that you will only feel a very slight tingling sensation down there. The device is Bluetooth enabled, so it also connects to a specific app so that you or your partner can turn it up or down, can change the volume of nerve activity to the brain. I guess your partner would do this if you found yourself in a position where it was quite difficult to reach your phone. Now, this was unveiled at the 2022 Consumer Electronics Show in Las Vegas, and it's not expected to hit the market until early 2023. It's got to undergo some regulatory approvals, and it's also not clear at this point how much it's going to cost. I'm also not quite sure right now whether it's going to be a reusable device or a disposable one-time use thing, or whether the electrical pulsing component will be reusable, but the adhesive patches will be replaced. So I'm not really big on gadgets and supplements for overcoming premature ejaculation. As a psychotherapist, I lean more towards learning skills for lasting effect. But technology does sometimes deliver the goods, and this is interesting. So on the positive side, it's not a medication, so there shouldn't be any side effects. I have another video about that. It looks like the More device will be relatively affordable. They seem to be genuine, well-intentioned people behind the company. And this gadget is also based on neurological understanding. It's not woo or snake oil. On the downside, I can envisage this device still being a bit clunky to use. It reminds me a little bit of that age-old technique for overcoming premature ejaculation, where couples were advised to use their fingers to press against the perineum, to apply a little bit of pressure. And that was supposed to kind of interrupt the preparation of seminal fluid, or send a message to the prostate to slow things down. I was never quite sure how it was meant to work, but it's an old technique long recommended by sex therapists, a little bit like the squeeze technique. Now, the More device should be a vast improvement on this. It's more automatic, it's more discreet, and it's using neurostimulation. It's sending electrical signals rather than just prodding away or applying pressure down there. So it certainly wins on that front. Now, of course, this device will only have any effect when it's being used. But if it does help guys to relieve the pressure, to slow down, become aware of the sensations of sex, and get to work on those other skills, I think it could really be beneficial. So I will be watching the development of this device with interest, and I'll probably get back with an update at some point. If you have any questions about premature ejaculation or sexual confidence in general, please feel free to get in touch, and my website is linked in the description below this video. Also remember that I am a therapist sharing my opinions and general advice, but this is no substitute for going to see your own GP or doctor. So if you have any concerns about health or your sexual health, you should go and get a medical checkup and take some advice. Thank you very much for watching.